whispers.
We're amazing this, man. What? Nothing.
Great job, ladies.
I like the floor.
Dark board some kind. If I'm looking at one, got one. There's this bigger. Strong Republican. Put him forward a bigger gun.
America is in pain.
A lot of pain.
A lot of pain in this nation, a lot of hurt, and a lot of empty promises. Okay? This is y'all's chance to make a change for this house, to enact rules that everyone must abide by, or suffer the consequences which you have detailed in your penal plan. You guys both did a penal plan, right?
We did.
Okay, great.
It's a funny word.
All right. Your left. Well, for the audience's right, let's go for our right-wing leader. Step to the podium. Vance. Right wing will be right there. No, stand like this on the podium. Behind it. Trump, they stand. Okay? All right. And for our left wing, communist dictator. Let's fill in the spot here. We got Simon.
I'm not communist. I'm left wing.
There we go. Another right-wing dog whistle dismissed instantly with logic. Guys, the fish tank has rules that we all must abide by, but they're pretty simple. Okay? You can't go outside, you can't use a phone, and you can't put hands on each other. Past that, the rules are up for you guys to decide. Let's have opening statements from Vance, and let's hit a quick little introduction on what you think the future of the fish tank should be. Opening statements, opening remarks. Not getting into the rules yet, but just your general philosophy for how things should change.
Well, I just fucking prepared an opening statement, but I will say that the fish tank has turned into a lawless, corrupted house, and the party to blame is absolutely the freeloaders, led by Slimy Simon over here. Stupid Simon, some are calling him. Coming in here, slithering around, spewing his racist, misogynistic ideas, and leading this house into the shithole that it's become. As president, I will right Simon's wrongs. I will right the freeloaders' wrongs, and I will restore order to this house and make it as great as it once was.
Very good opening statement. Right wing coming in strong, Simon. Let's hear your opening statements about your plan as president.
I, Simon, is above belittling remark against my opponent using vulgar language. This house have been filthy as ever, and the contestant have been here the longest, for 23 days, and nothing have changed. As a matter of fact, one of our members, Chris, wake up every morning and do the dishes without any incentive going toward him. So with me, I will put people on their proper duty. Everybody will have a fair share of work, and this house will never suffer from mice infestation again. There'll be no rats, and everybody will be well fed.
Thank you. Strong statement. The left wing seems devoted to fixing some of the house's problems, and the right wing is noticing some of the new problems that have occurred since the freeloader invasion. And when you have this many military-aged males crossing the border, you know, oh, it's immigration? No, it's a military invasion. Okay, guys. So we're going to move on to some specific policies. What is the one policy that you're most excited about to introduce? Can each of you introduce one rule that you've written that you want to enact that is your favorite rule, the one that comes to the top of your head, maybe the biggest, loudest, most dominant, bold move you can make here? What is the biggest disruption coming to the fish tank when you guys win? Vance?
Well, I'm going to start this on a positive note. I think the house has gotten real sour in mood recently. And I think in order to flip that around, everyone in the house has to play a game or do some sort of group activity together each day to liven our spirits, engage the viewers, and restore the house to the fun-loving environment it once was.
That sounds great. Simon, what is one bold move you're going to enact when you become president?
One bold move I enact once we become president, I noticed that the women been doing most of the work here. Like you just made all the women clean up the mess.
Yeah.
So one thing I would do is I will enact men and women activity. So when there's a cleanup, men and women do it together. Laundry, men and women do it together. Cleaning the dishes, men and women doing it together. Because why? Men and women create a family. And Americans want a strong family that's not divided.
Thank you. That's great. We all want family.
Yeah.
Equality is very important as an American principle.
I agree.
What is y'all's opinions on chores? Maybe go back and forth here. Who do you think is slacking? Who do you want to bring up? What team needs to do a little more? How are you guys going to keep this house clean and livable? What's your plan of action here?
Well, I think if the freeloaders want to live in this house, they have to do their fair share of chores. Maybe take a little bit more responsibility for the messes they're making. And that's not to count out the contestants as well. We need to be stepping it up, doing some more dishes, throwing away our trash. Yeah, in general, everybody needs to be stepping it up a little bit more, and I don't think anybody can disagree with that.
There we go. And Vance on the right wing here noting that there's a general slackiness that he wants to address, but the specifics of which aren't clearly detailed. Simon, how are you going to fill in those gaps?
I, Simon, will fill in the chore gap by having designated chore pre-written for each member every morning. So the first thing they do once they wake up is they complete those chores, and then they can go back to vaping. But I just want to say that us, left wing, like I stated, Chris been doing the dish while asking. And if y'all recall, when there was foam, shaving foam sprayed all over the house, I took it upon myself to clean it up without anybody asking. Whether left wing or right wing, I don't want people to step into shit.
Got it. How are you guys planning to combat lazy Letty? Because lazy Letty doesn't clean, and across party lines, lazy Letty has been a problem for this house basically since the first 30 minutes she entered. How are we going to make her put her to work and get her doing her fair share in this house?
Well, Slimy Simon, I do like your designated chore chart idea, and beyond that, I'm going to have a designated lazy Letty chart where she will have her own, let's make it 2 chores per day, and maybe a skill building opportunity such as building a table or building a bench.
So these unskilled workers and these lazy bums, we're not only going to put them to work, but we're going to teach them skills for their future. Simon, what's your plan on lazy Letty?
Once again, the right wing is taking idea from the left wing because we have practical ideas that work. As far as Nettie go, I would not belittle her by calling her lazy. She's Canadian. She was raised different. So instead of chastising her for not being able to build a table or not bathing frequently, we should teach her again as if what to teach an American. So I propose a re-education system for Letty. With our program, you know how to build a table, shave, and nobody will make fun of you for smelling again.
I don't smell. And also, the left wing would never tell women to shave.
Counterpoint from the right wing here.
Yeah.
Slimy Simon, being so slimy, saying he would never belittle Letty by calling her names, while still implying that she smells bad, that she's lazy. What do you have to say for that, Slimy Simon?
I say that's the people vote, and according to TTS, she smells.
TTS can't smell me.
That's how strong the odor is.
All right, we have a new freeloader in the mix here, a new immigrant, Ella. Ella may not have a path carved out for her by her own yet. She's new to the house and doesn't know her role exactly. And that's a natural thing that happens anytime there's a new person in this house. Not just Ella, but any new freeloaders that enter. Do you guys have any sort of plan to put these freeloaders to work, to teach them about the house, to educate and teach them the ways of the fish tank? How are you going to handle new immigrants in this country? Anyone can pipe up. You have anything, Simon?
Yes. So, as a freeloader myself, which I'm an immigrant, obviously, based on my voice, we take in immigrant because they add diversity to this country. It made this country great. Without Mexican, we wouldn't have Tex-Mex. So, Ella, we welcome you because you're going to add some spices to this country. You're going to work harder than everybody else because you're an immigrant. And I think that you will help make some very diverse babies.
Awesome.
Counterpoint from the right. How are you going to handle Ella and any future freeloaders? What do you have for freeloaders entering that would make them choose to support your party over the left wing?
Well, I'm kind of here supporting my fellow contestants, the people that were here first. And I will say to any freeloaders that enter this house, we will welcome you as long as you contribute your fair share. And to ensure that you do, I will be enacting a policy, punishment for not abiding by our cleaning laws, our cooking laws, our picking up after yourself laws. You will be spending 2 hours in jail if you break one of these laws, jail being the garage. And you can reduce your jail term to 30 minutes by paying bail, which is 2 loot crate items. That policy will go into effect immediately and will impact every freeloader that enters this house the minute they step foot here.
Tough on crime. I would expect that from the right wing. A common criticism of the left wing, Simon, is that you guys are lax on crime. The elderly, the disabled, some of the people who are disadvantaged in this country want a tough crime policy. To these people leveraging that criticism against your party, what would you say about the left wing's approach to crime and nuisance in the fish tank?
I think it's very hypocritical of them to just enact this law on the freeloader and not the contestant also. So crime doesn't really happen much in rich neighborhood. It happened where we live due to the poverty. So crime is something they rarely have to worry about. But still, they make it seem like it's a big deal for them. What are you gonna lose when somebody breaks in your house? Your PS5? We have much more to lose because we don't have much items. And I think by just throwing the freeloader in jail because we need resource, that's just make it worse for our family. We have mouths to feed. And yeah, some of us might have to do some crime.
So you're saying that some of these freeloaders may be predisposed to crime due to the effects of poverty,
Yeah,
to the effects of your
exactly due to right-wing policy.
And these right-wing policies lead you to theft and stealing other people's boba, stealing energy drinks, stealing snacks from the refrigerator. And when that happens, it's simply out of hunger. And the fact that in mass incarceration of these POCs and these BIPOCs and locking them in the garage with throwing the key away for up to 2 hours.
For 2 hours?
That's a stark amount of time.
Yeah, and it's extortion. 2 loot crate items.
So not only were you forced to steal to quench your hunger and thirst, but now you have to give up more of your family's resources.
Yeah, resource. What happens you don't have those resources? You be there forever?
But right wing, how are we gonna if we don't enact and if we don't get tough on these policies and if we don't chase down the problems that this house is experiencing, how are we going to restore any order? Maybe have bringing a tough fist down on these freeloaders and their problems. Maybe that's what they need. And also, what do you have to say about excluding your contestants from this jail policy? And are you being a little too harsh on these left-wing pundits?
Am I being a little too harsh? Perhaps, but maybe harshness is what we need in this house. Maybe we've been a little too lax for too long. And I will say, Simon, if you were working hard enough to earn loot crates, paying this bail would be nothing. I think maybe look to yourself, look to your fellow freeloaders, and ask, why don't I have these resources?
I have the perfect answer for that. As we know, the contestant been here for 23 days. We've been here for only 3 days, so we don't have much fans. We don't have the time duration to earn many loot crates. I got some loot crates. Y'all got some loot crates? Yeah, we've been earning our keys. They've been here forever. So they actually shouldn't even need items from the loot crate because they have plenty. If they were hardworking, as they say, then they wouldn't even need to enact the policy where you give us loot crate item to get out of jail.
Now, Simon, I don't agree with that because Lance was here for, 2 days? And he was getting loot crates left and right. Left and right. He could have paid any amount of bail. He was getting steaks, energy drinks, milk duds, Nerf guns, you name it, because he worked hard.
Guys, let's switch gears here and go to a new policy. Cooking. Currently, everyone just eats bad food all day, frozen food, and the meat has just been sitting idle in the freezer since John left. Do you guys have any plan on nationwide meal program, maybe once a day, cooking for the entire house? Who, if you do have that plan, maybe that plan seems too communist. Maybe you hate that idea. But if you do have that plan, who would you elect to be the house cook, to cook food for everyone, good meals, and increase morale, and get some of this this sugar, this trans fat, and all these microplastic bug meals out of the nation's stomach here? Do you guys have any plan for a meal plan?
My meal plan is, since we have 7 members in the house, and there's 7 days out of the week, every day, one person in the house will cook a meal for everybody, a healthy meal, and if they can't cook, then we'll have somebody that's good at cooking looking over them to make sure they add the right amount of spice and ingredient. And as far as frozen food, well, we allow them to eat the food they want. They don't have to follow, the food pyramid, because we're not a dictatorship. But we rather them eat healthy foods so they could continue living.
Got it. Vance, what is your meal plan for the nation you might be leading?
My meal plan, I agree that we do need a daily healthier meal. for everyone to enjoy. More fresh food, less processed things, less Pop-Tarts, less milk duds, less M&Ms, a little less sugar too. I think we do need to maybe cook a little more meats in this house, maybe incorporate a little more vegetables, care about our health a little bit. After all, we're not getting some of that natural vitamin D to keep our spirits up. And I think that we should all take turns cooking, or at least attempting to cook. And as Simon said, as much as I disagree with my opponent here, he is correct in having somebody look over the spices and kind of guiding the people that have less experience cooking. Yeah.
Now some could say it's a whip-wristed approach to steal the left's ideals. But, on the other hand, maybe it's brave to agree on a point and have some cross-party unity. What is good is no matter who wins, the health standard of this nation is going to rise. Guys, round of applause for the agreements on the topic. Because that's what America's about. Alright, back to war. Let's talk about minorities, guys.
About what?
Minorities.
Minorities.
There's one person in this house that's going to need some special rules, okay? Where is Josie's reservation going to be in this house? Where are we putting her? Where is she going to be staying? What rules will she have that doesn't apply to the rest of this house? Because guess what, guys? She was here before everyone. Okay?
Now, Josie is a good friend of mine. I will designate Josie's room as her reservation. In that room, these laws will not apply to Josie. But, Josie, when you enter the common areas, I'm sorry to say they will apply to you.
Simon?
As somebody that got into hot water for making fun of Native American Indian, which is another factor that make me want to run for president to clean up my image. I have to say Native American Indian been here first, and we took their land and shrink it. And just for that, you can still have your room, but if you want, you can have the master bedroom to make up for all the land that we took from you. But you don't need to if you don't want to, but that's something we're willing to offer for taking your land and giving you smallpox. So I promise, pay the blanket, because with us, like I say, I'll enforce chores, so the sheet will be clean, even letty. And you will have as many, I know Native American Indian, you like animals, so we'll give you more plushies for you to enjoy. And we allow you to keep your bow and arrow.
I might have to switch sides.
Thank you to both parties for clearing out some land for Josie. Congratulations, guys. All right, moving on. The jail policy. I know one of these parties has mentioned that your penal restrictions will be a little strict, Vance. You want to turn the garage into a jail. Maybe that's a good deterrent for crime and all these miscreants leaving empty soda cans on the fish tank floor. And Simon, you didn't clearly describe your penal policy or what the punishment for these infractions will be. I want each of you to expound on exactly how these crimes are going to be handled, how you're going to enact them, if there's a bail policy like Vance explained. Simon, maybe you have a counter policy that you think is better. Maybe America will hate it, maybe they'll love it. But we need a clear plan moving forward about how we're going to handle infractions to the agreed upon rules that you've written down. Whoever's first can begin.
I have a counter policy. I feel like the right-wing punishment is harsh. They're trying to build prison more than schools.